Guys, Yulia here. So in today's video I wanted to show you an update on the plants that I'm growing from seed this year. So about a couple of months ago I made a video about all of the varieties that I'm growing from seed this year. I will put a link to that video in the description down below so you can see the varieties, the colors, the heights, where you would use those plants in the garden. But today I wanted to show you how they're actually doing. Spoiler alert, most of them are doing great, but I did have some losses. So here's my stash of all of the plants that I have been growing from seed this year. I took almost all of them out of the house. I do still have a couple of trays, I think. I had a lot of them in the basement, in the kitchen, wherever I had them, but I wanted to put them here so I can show you. And also I have been hardening off a lot of things already, and I will continue hardening them off from now on because our weather is just amazing. These plants I wanted to show you are Elysum. This is Benthamai and Violet Queen. I love Elysum because it is fast growing, it is cold tolerant, it is the most economical way to populate your spring containers. So for $5 or $6 you can plant up a lot of your spring containers. I started these about 3 weeks ago, and as you can see they're already budding up. A lot of people start Elysum outside direct sowing, but that actually takes quite a long time before they start blooming. I prefer to start these inside the house. You can see these are just from like a lettuce that we bought in the store. And I separate these little bunches and populate my outdoor containers this way. These are Aderatum Blue Planet, and I love this plant. They're deer resistant, they bloom all season long, and they're drought tolerant. They're very different from the Aderatum that you usually see in the nursery, those little ones that don't grow taller than 6 inches. These are actually almost 2 feet, and you can even use these as a cut flower. Now, Aderatums are worm-loving annuals, so you shouldn't really plant them out until the danger of your last frost has passed. But I actually like to wait even longer, and I plant them out around the same time I plant out my tomatoes, when the soil temperature is about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. These are China Asters, and I'm growing 2 different varieties this year. I have a sentimental attachment to China Asters because it's one of the first flowers I grew as a kid. And these are doing amazing. You can see the quality of the seedling. Now, you can notice that I'm growing them in peat pots, and I do not recommend peat pots. I stopped using them long ago. The only reason I am using them right now is because our local nursery was closing earlier in the spring, and they were pretty much giving away stuff for free, and I needed pots, so I used these. The problem with peat pots is they can become hydrophobic and really difficult to hydrate. They break down before you actually have to plant your plants outside. So I have a lot of the pots here that are kind of falling apart already. And peat, it's not really sustainable. So, but anyway, look at how beautiful. I will plant these out like in a week or so. This is Nicotiana, and if you go to my seed stash video from a couple of months ago, you could see I'm growing many different varieties of Nicotiana this year. This is watercolors, and you could see just how beautiful this plant is. It looks like a mini hosta to me. So I bumped these up about a month after I started these plants. I do want an earlier bloom. It is not too late to start Nicotiana even right now. If you want to have them in your garden, they will just bloom a little later. But I will show you what a different size of pot looks like, what the plant looks like when you bump them up. Hold on. So I bumped these up at the same time as these guys here. And these are definitely smaller because the pots are smaller. You can see that. Too many plants. So definitely, if you want like a larger seedling, you can pot it up in a larger container. But there's really no rush. If you are planting these out pretty soon, you could just use smaller pots. If you are planning on holding these over for longer, it is best to pot them up or bump them up because they do need more soil to grow. For the least impressive seedlings in my stash, I present you the Lisianthus. Lisianthus growing is definitely not for the impatient gardener. I don't mean to put Erin on the spot here, but Lisianthus definitely takes a very long time to mature. They're not difficult plants to grow. They're not fussy about the soil. They're actually quite cold tolerant, but they're painfully slow. These are 4 months old, almost 5. In comparison, this Nicotiana is less than 2 months old. And the problem when you start them from seed, because they're sitting here for such a long time, there's so many things that can happen. Overwatering, underwatering, gnats, different light situations, sunburn. And the longer the plant experiences its life in a pot, the more difficult it is to succeed. But this is my, I would say, 5th year growing Lisianthus. I've been quite successful. I kind of cracked the code. I am a very patient person, personally, so I don't mind waiting for 6 months or even 7 months for the blooms. You generally can start Lisianthus in the beginning of January or as early as December, around Christmas time, if you're really itching to start seeds. It is a fun project, but just keep in mind that it is a long road. The ones that I just showed you have been doing really good, but just wanted to show you some plants with patchy germination. So this is Manarda media, which is a native plant to us. I got these seeds in a local library. They had a free native seed library, and the germination wasn't that great. I'm actually not having a lot of luck with a lot of my natives this year, which I probably should do another video on how those seeds are doing. Yes, some of them are doing great from winter sowing, but some are really patchy. This is definitely a seed quality situation here. But I do have a couple of plants here, which is fine. Another Manarda or a lemon bergamot right here. Also, you could see a little bit of a patchy germination. This could happen if you don't water those cells after you sow the seeds as well, because seeds really need moisture in order to germinate. But this again could have been just poor seed quality or poor watering on my part. This plant had no problem germinating. This is Xeranthemum. This is the first time I'm growing this plant, and I definitely overseeded it. I am going to start planting this out pretty soon. I just have to harden this off. One here is a straw flower. I am hardening this off this weekend and planning on planting it out sometimes this week because this is pretty cold tolerant. This is a native plant that germinated really well for me. This is Heath Aster, and I'm hardening this one off this weekend so I can plant this out. This is a perennial, hardy to our zone, so it could definitely go out in the garden. I have some dahlia seedlings here, and I haven't grown dahlias from seed in quite a while. These are a little stretched out because I missed a germination time. So basically, when you see your seeds starting to germinate, see any green pop out of the ground, you need to place plants, not just dahlias, but all of these plants under grow lights. Grow lights, I would say, is number one thing to have successful seed starting. So I did miss the time when they were germinating, but I think these will be fine. It's always interesting when you're starting dahlias from seed is what you are going to get. So this is my basil, and just yesterday it looked absolutely picture perfect, but I started hardening this off today, and as you could see, I was rushing into it and it got burned. So you see these leaves got sunburn. because this patio just received way too much sun. I totally forgot about that. So when you harden plants off, just start it gradually. It is best to start on an overcast day or in the total shade. Otherwise, these plants can suffer and get sunburn because the tissue of the leaf here is very thin, and these plants need to get used to a lot more light outside and also the wind. We actually had quite a bit of wind today. I think it desiccated the plants a little bit, but these will recover. In fact, I'm thinking about cutting off the tops and just using them for dinner. Other than that, they look pretty good. Two different types of peppers this year. This is California Wonder, and this is chocolate. And this one is really cool. It's the darkest pepper I have seen. It's also really, really tasty. But I'm going to bump these up because I'm going to keep these in the house for another couple of weeks. Although our weather has been amazing. Yesterday was in the 80s. It's going to be in the 70s all the following week. But we could have a freaky cold night in the coming couple of weeks. So I'm not going to take a chance because these are looking really, really healthy right now. Now these seedlings look absolutely insane. See how big they are? So this is a cobea, or cup and saucer vine. And the reason why they're so huge is because I started them way earlier than they recommend on the seed packet. Because when I start them at the right time, they bloom way too late for me, around September or so. And I want them to bloom more like July time. So I'm going to keep these in the house for probably another week because these are, again, very warm loving vines. But I'm planting them out in front of our front door, so there's actually a lot of ambient heat that is coming from the house. So I don't think they're in any danger of damage there, but I still just want to be safe. A lot of people have trouble growing cobea successfully and having a lot of flowers. This plant actually benefits from pinching when they are about 5 to 6 feet tall. So you just pinch the top and it creates a lot of side shoots, and the plant is a lot more prolific. Now, I love the plant even if it didn't bloom because the foliage is just so pretty and I would grow it anyway. Speaking of other warm loving plants, here are my tomatoes. I'm growing 6 different types this year. And I'm going to plant these out about a week from now. And although our soil temperatures are at 60 degrees Fahrenheit right now, which is where it needs to be to plant out tomatoes, I need to harden these off. So it takes about 5 or 6 days. So I take these plants out and I put them back in. First day for about an hour, and then the second day for a couple of hours, and then I increase the length every day. This way they will be ready to go outside in about a week. I'm growing many different types of Digitalis this year. This is the rusty one. It is a short-lived perennial, so it is ready to be hardened off and planted in the garden. Again, peat pots, you see, just falling apart just in time. But these I've had a really good luck with. I will show you the one that actually suffered a lot from my overwatering because I totally forgot that that was more of the drought resistant plant. The Sunset Foxglove, and I clearly remember reading it on the packet that this is an unusual Digitalis because it likes to be in a sunny location in well-draining soil, and it actually can't take drought. But I was watering it the same way I was watering all the other plants. It did not love it. This die-off right here, 100% due to overwatering. So I stopped watering it as much as the other ones, and we'll see how the rest of them will do. These right here are chocolate foxgloves. These look super healthy. Also short-lived perennial. So these are not going to bloom this year, but they will next year. And I have to find spots for them in the garden. If you think that I know where to plant all of these things, you'd be wrong. I have no idea. I definitely know where to plant the tomatoes, but everything else I still have to think about. Another, not really a fail, but more of a difficult plant to grow is Dicandra silver falls. So I don't know if you guys remember, I collected some seeds back in December from my Dicandra silver falls that I had in the window box. I collected about 20 seeds and 3 germinated. They are painfully slow, and now I totally understand why Dicandra is kind of expensive to buy in the nursery, because they are difficult to grow. I know you can grow them from cuttings, but I thought that maybe growing them from seed will be a lot more productive. I probably will just take cuttings next year or overwinter these ones. This is Orleia, and I started these about 3 weeks ago, and the reason is because the Orleia that I started in my winter sowing containers did not have a great germination, and I absolutely love this plant. And as you could see, it germinated really well inside the house. I had these under grow lights so far, so I'm ready to start hardening these off and plant them out in the garden because they are really cold tolerant. No idea how long this video is getting, and I have more plants to show you, but I'm only going to show you 2 more because some of them are redundant and just don't want to bore you with this. But I'm growing more tomatoes. These are orange hat, and I love these. These are dwarf tomatoes. They only grow to 8 inches tall, believe it or not. So right here, you can see they already have buds on them. So they're about to bloom and set fruit. These are great, fun tomatoes to grow. If you have a small patio, if you have a balcony, if you don't have a garden at all, you can grow these under grow lights inside the house, which I have done in the middle of the winter. They will produce, you only will get a handful of tomatoes from each plant, but again, each plant is only 8 inches tall. They're fun to grow, super healthy too. And the last plant, this pineapple surprise coleus that I grew from seed. Look how cute. So freckly. I know coleus can be grown from cuttings, you can get them in a nursery, but I was just curious to see just what I could get from seed, and they are adorable right here. So I'm going to use these probably in the pots that I have right here. And yeah, let me show you one more thing. I wanted to give you an update on the stock babies that I've grown from seed this year. I have been struggling to grow stock for years and to kind of crack the code on these, and I think I finally did it. These are looking so good. They're about to bloom. You can see they're starting to stretch out. So I planted these out here almost a month ago. Stock is very cold tolerant, and I planted them in these grow bags that I used last year for tomatoes. Unfortunately, they did not have enough volume for tomatoes, but these are perfect to grow cut flowers. So once I harvest this stock here, I'm going to plant the asters and the other things that I have here. Now, I did have to protect these from bunnies and squirrels because both of those love stock. And I've been using these repellents, which have been working really well. I didn't have any damage whatsoever. Let me show you the other side. These right here are not as impressive as the ones I just showed you. They were a little smaller when I planted them out, but still I will get some flowers out of these. I am so excited that I finally am going to get some stock for my cut flower bouquets. This is it for today's seed starting update. I am sorry, you guys, if this video was too long, but I just wanted to share with you where I am at with all of these plants that I started from seed, which is kind of incredible. And I know for some of us, starting plants from seed seems like a lot of work, but for me, this is the joy of gardening. I actually love the process of gardening more than the result. And to me, the blooms that I will get at the end of all of this is kind of a cherry on top. But share in the comments below what you guys have been growing from seed, if you had some fails, or what successes you had and how your seedlings are looking right now, and whether you're ready to plant things out or you're still waiting on it. I would love to hear from you. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for watching today's video. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.